Hi and welcome to Electronica 2016. We're live from Munich, Germany, where Arrow have a significant booth, and tonight is the booth party where all the vendors and the partners can come on and we can talk a lot of business and have a bit of a good time after this long show. So what we wanted to do is we basically wanted to take you guys through what this is all about and exactly what it means to Arrow as a whole. So the first thing I'd like to start with is a little VT that we created about exactly what our stand looks like. Roll VT.
Yes, I've never heard of before. And this is our smart home. So we can come in. Oh, we have a Ring video doorbell just here. And we can come in through our door in. And we have an example of all the cool technologies that we use in the smart home. We have our How Happy's London, How Happy's Munich example. We have Alexa, one of our interesting pieces of technology that we have back in London. And we also have an array of cool stuff, including every home should have the IoT coffee machine. Alexa, stop. Okay, let's keep going. So, coming round to here, we have our intelligent systems, enterprise computing solutions, and Richardson RFPD booths, so we can actually bring over here and talk to customers quietly and have a bit of a chat. And by the way, at the moment, all we've done is skirt around the outside of the booth. Now we're actually going to go into it. So our booth is about 900 square meters. We have an entire kitchen. We have loads of area for people to be able to meet and sit and talk. We have an entire bar set up so that we can feed and water and people can have a drink. It's pretty crazy, and it has literally been this busy all week long, all the way till about 7 o'clock every night. We have our video walls, and if we keep coming round, we also have meeting rooms. So we actually have 14 meeting rooms that come all the way down there and all the way down there. So people can actually have private meeting spaces, they can actually have a conversation, they can actually do things and chat and all good stuff. So, let's keep coming around. Oh, thank you very much. So, this is our partner network area. So once again, more space for people to have informal meetings, have lunch, have a chat. These are some of our sort of interactive screens so that you can actually do and talk about what we actually do in these particular areas. We can actually scroll through and show what we're doing at any one point in time. And then obviously the hub, the heart of the stand. This is the podcast studio with our very own Mr. Richard Holmes on it at the moment, manning the stand, looking very busy, having some lunch. And then as if no stand should be without, it's ESA probe. So this is actually the one that landed on the Comet. We've brought it back especially for the podcast and for the show. I'm only joking, it's actually a model. But we're going to show it a bit closer. So this is her. Pretty cool. And actually Arrow supplied components that went into this probe that did actually land on the Comet, which is, I think, is pretty cool. So, last thing to show you all. So Arrow has a strategic relationship, an exclusive relationship, with an organisation called Indiegogo. If you don't know what Indiegogo is, look it up. It's essentially a crowdfunding system for tech startups looking to innovate and build cool new technology. And this is the Indiegogo stand. Lovely pink tables, very cool, very digital, and that's that. So, I hope you enjoyed our booth. Hope you enjoyed that tour, and yeah. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. See you soon.
Okay, so now you know what the booth looks like. It's massive,
Huge.
900 square meters of it. The next thing that we wanted to sort of share with you was throughout the week we've had various keynotes and things like that going on, and one of the best speakers we've sat through all week long was actually our own Chief Digital Officer, Matt Anderson. We were lucky enough to catch up with him earlier today and get a little bit of his vision on exactly what Arrow's digital strategy should look like, and exactly how we should all be thinking about our organisation as one Arrow. So here is Matt Anderson himself taking us through what Arrow's digital strategy looks like. Go for it.
That company around.
Oh, cool.
So that was my background before I joined Arrow. So inside of Arrow, I have a kind of two roles. I'm the Chief Digital Officer, so I'm supposed to drive innovative thinking, discontinuities, really interesting and big ideas is sort of one part of my job. And the other part of my job is I run the P&L for anything that goes through an e-commerce channel. All of our internet media businesses, some people may not know, but we are one of the largest internet media companies in the world now in technology. We own over 45 publications. We own 15 cloud-based design tools. We have 75% of the world's electronic engineers, IoT engineers, design engineers, cloud engineers coming to one of our media websites 70 million times every month. And that is a not known fact that we have been working on over the last couple of years.
It's not often we're left speechless.
Yeah. And so, I think we're the world's largest reach engine at this point around technology. If you need to get the word out about something, that's Arrow. They can help you do that.
You see, that's mind blowing. But you see pockets of sort of like the news articles come out. We bought an element of UBM.
Yeah.
But you never really appreciate it in context, do you?
No, but I mean, I suppose the first question that springs into my mind is why? Why would a distributor, a warehouse, logistics, and credit control organisation own media sites?
Well, probably a distributor wouldn't, and so let's not call ourselves that ever
again.
Good,
yeah, I like that.
I like that. I'm on board.
If I could, I'd make distributor a four-letter word. But it's not. It's our rich heritage and our legacy, and it does give us this very interesting advantages that we can compete from. So let me kind of just step back and take the view. I mean, maybe I just tell you why I joined the company, because that probably gives you my assessment of the company, in a way that's even more meaningful, because it caused me to make personal decisions, right? So, at the end of the day, when I look at digital in the B2C space, I think that game is all played out. At the end of the day, there will be only one company, and we all know who that will be, and they are going to disintermediate retail around the world.
Yeah.
And there will be a few retail brands that maybe have great locations that will plug into that company's supply chain, and they will essentially fulfill everything for retail brands around the world, right? And you see this happening time and time again, right? You see it happening with Uber, you see it happening with Airbnb. There is this effect on the internet, which is that there's externalities. In other words, there's so much value from having all the value in one place and easy to find that it doesn't make sense to have it in two places.
Yeah.
And so you end up with these fierce sort of internet competitions in the world, and eventually winners emerge, right? And those winners have built platforms. Fundamentally, they're not in the business that you think that they're in. They're in a business of adding new buckets of value into this reach engine that they've developed. Uber's a great example of that, right? Uber starts off, they essentially say, we have this understanding that if people can review drivers and feel safe driving with each other and riding with each other, they'll do that. I mean, you step back 10 years, if I said, hey, why don't you just hop in a car with a guy that stops in front of your house and says, I'll give you a ride, you would have looked at me like I'm crazy. And now you look at me, if I was like, hey, I don't know if I want to do that, you look at me like, maybe I'm not really with it, right?
Yeah.
And that is a fundamental change in the world. And that was a very simple understanding that they had, right? That there's a lot of extra capacity when a car is sitting in your house, and people can make some extra money, and they'll trust each other if we help them talk about each other in an open way. But now where they're going is driverless cars that are going to disintermediate that industry. They're going with delivery of packages that will disintermediate DHL and FedEx and UPS. They're going in even delivery of food. What does it mean? Do you need to have a traditional retail restaurant anymore? That's an interesting question, right? So, when you really step back and think about what Uber is driving in driverless cars and some of this, I mean, don't think of cars as cars anymore. Cars are trains now, right? In a driverless world, they all know exactly how fast they can start. When the light turns green, which there won't be lights because they'll all just be talking to each other, creating brief windows of intersection, right, where you can fly through and be where you need to be. And so you have to realize these platforms allow you to go and extend that value. That is why Silicon Valley companies have the multiples that they have. That's why they have the value they have, because fundamentally, people know that big reach engines, platforms, you can find new ways to monetize.
Yeah.
Right? So now let's step back and look at Arrow. Arrow was what I call a hard asset platform. Okay? So a hard asset platform means that we actually have these incredible design capabilities. We have incredible cloud capabilities. We have incredible software capabilities. We have amazing channel partners that are able to work with, people that are trying to do new things they've never done before.
Yep.
We have IoT platforms we can connect you to, right? We have API developers that we can work with you around. We have amazing supply chain capabilities that can ensure that if you start to scale up, your line doesn't go down, right, in time for the holidays, those kinds of things. Those are hard asset platforms, right? They've never really been connected together in a meaningful way before, right? And we as a company haven't talked about or thought about ourselves as a platform before.
Yeah.
Platform is sort of the word du jour right now, but it's all around software, right? Like this is a platform.
Yeah.
Your iPhone is a platform, right? Software platforms exist. But the really powerful thing is that the next revolution that's coming, right? So not the internet revolution, but the Internet of Things revolution, has an important word in it, things, right? And things are much more complicated than the internet was. Things require you to go get certifications from government. When someone hands it back to you, you have to be able to take it, right? It can't blow up and catch fire in an airplane, right? These are very important things, right, about things that require, think about a traditional entrepreneur in the internet only. They had 6 or 7 people, maybe a couple, women developers who got together, they came up with an idea, built out an application, took them 6 months, they got billions of dollars of venture capital and PE and took the company public. They never had to make a thing, right? What they had to make was an app.
Exactly.
The next revolution requires so much more of a scope of thinking, of a command of areas, material sciences, those kinds of things. And so hard asset platforms are going to be the rocket fuel that takes IoT into the real world. Okay?
Wow.
And so what we began to look at and understand about Arrow is, there are some elements of the platform that were weak. Okay? Example, I think 10 years ago, a lot of great shoulders that I'm standing on right in our executive team sort of looked back and said, being a distributor is not enough anymore. You need to add more value.
Yeah.
So we began to get solution architects in our enterprise computing business. We began to get field application engineers, component engineers, design engineers, IoT engineers, right? All the things that you need to sort of enable design. And what did we do with that? We took our traditional customer base that we've been working with and we said, we could do something more for you.
Yeah.
We can help you make this thing, right? And so we went out and did that. But we weren't really famous in the market for doing that. We were just extremely proficient at doing it. Okay? And if you worked with us already, if you were one of our big customers, you knew that Arrow was the company to go to help you design for manufacturability, right?
Yeah.
And then connect in the supply chain. Now, here you have this capability, but it hasn't really been unlocked to work at scale. It hasn't really been unlocked to work with thousands and thousands of companies. And so that was kind of an element that was missing. Another thing that was missing is Arrow's traditionally modified its inventory or its offering profile to work with, big scale situations. I mean, we are a $24-25 billion company, right?
Yep.
And at the end of the day, that means we need to be able to ship trainloads of things, right? And deliver with great certainty around that. But we were not traditionally very good at getting you one thing overnight.
No. Yeah.
Right? And we didn't have the inventory breadth to really help people who are tinkering with things, right?
Makers
do that.
and developers.
Makers, developers, emerging IoT players, etc. And so where we began to invest in the value proposition started there, in that kind of e-commerce for prototype, e-commerce for design, for IoT enablement. And a lot of people in the industry, I think they looked around and they said, well, Arrow is going into kind of the catalog retail space for technology. Yeah. And I can tell you, we're not interested in the catalog retail space for technology.
It's not the reason.
That's exactly right. We want to make a platform. And that platform has to be able to unlock the tremendous expertise of our field application engineers, architects, cloud engineers, IoT developers, API developers. It has to be able to let someone who's prototyping mess around with some technology and see what's really working. It needs them to be able to use cloud-based design tools so that they can do schematics and board layouts and get PCBs built. They need to be able to automatically connect to IBM Watson, to Microsoft Azure, to AWS. They need to be able to build applications, right? They need to be able to have that device connected to a supply chain that will ensure that that product can be delivered, right?
Fail fast.
They need manufacturing capabilities that can scale up, and not just scale up in one location, but scale up around the world, because demand is now global.
Yes.
These kind of amazing hard asset platform capabilities and characteristics are what we needed to bring onto the internet and deliver at a scale. You know, a traditional engineer works with one customer a day. An engineer working on Arrow.com, 20 to 30 customers a day.
Wow.
Because they can do assessments utilizing the cloud, utilizing
of course.
tools, utilizing all these amazing capabilities, live HD video, and work with a lot more. So that really is what I was talking about the other night, which is, you know, we don't think that in the world of the internet, traditional business models encounter platforms and they get disintermediated by them, right? But it's the same thing with internet companies. Companies that take their traditional business model and just shove it on the internet get disintermediated too. I was at Yellow Page companies. Yellow Pages, long before Google was doing its thing, stuck their Yellow Pages on the internet. They took pictures of them and put them on the internet, and they highlighted them with HTML, and they said, you can click and zoom in on the picture. That's yesterday's business model on the internet.
Yeah.
And it got disintermediated by a platform, which is
I love that
Google.
we've had like an industrial or an internet revolution already in the last 5 years. You think the amount of time it took for the industrial revolution to happen, then the technology revolution. Now we've had, e-commerce, old school.
Disruptors are being disrupted.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Know that they can scale up. So, we really see people embracing what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think the company is really hungry for change. They're hungry to lead. I mean, this has always been a culture that's been about, I think winning, delivering value, taking care of customers, doing innovative things, leadership, 5 years out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Driving innovation, guiding it forward. And so, when I look at that kind of culture combined with what we're doing, there's such a natural fit. There's certainly elements of transformation we need to deliver, but I'm really confident that is happening at the pace that we can handle it, right now, and it's only going to accelerate.
Brilliant. Well, Matt, thank you ever so much for coming on. We really
Amazing.
appreciate it, and I hope
really
that's going to help to really motivate a lot of our staff and help our channel to better understand what Arrow is, going into the future.
Absolutely,
5 years out.
definitely.
Brilliant.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks.
Cheers. So,
Well, that was
it
pretty good, wasn't it?
It was good. I must admit,
I really enjoyed that.
very motivational,
Yeah, definitely.
really interesting, and you know what? Really talks about how we're going to come together in the future to build that platform and to really build something that is pretty undisruptible, I'd hope. And become
I
the
think
platform
unique
platforms.
as well. I think
Yeah.
that was the thing that came across.
Well, massively.
pretty
massively.
unique, yeah.
So, our next video is basically, it's yours. It's your one.
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah, you let me loose.
Yeah, I did.
Brilliant.
So, one of the big themes of this show, understandably, is IoT. And essentially, we have an IoT house.
Oh, I was in my element.
You were. So, shall we have a look?
Let's have a look. Into my lovely new home here at Electronica 16. This is the... Oh, be careful getting up. This is the Arrow Electronics Internet of Things Smart Home. And I think anybody who knows me knows that Internet of Things is a little bit of a topic and a favourite of mine, and we just thought that what we'd do is we'd give you a quick guided tour of my crib here today. So, if you'd like to follow me, you'll notice we've got a plethora of lights here at our smart home, and these are all takes on and different types of solutions of smart lights. So we've got some LED lights that come on from a nice little switch on the door here, and I'm just going to interrupt this gentleman here and pick this up, and this is a little wireless. Walk around the room, switch my light on, switch it off. What we're going to do, we're going to see if I can break it. Oh, nice little bit of mood light in there, switch on, but in the interest of saving electricity, we'll turn it off and pop that back on there. Available at a very well-known home depot type store. Moving on here, this is another light, but with a difference, because in this light we've got a little camera. little security camera. So what we can do is we can keep an eye on what's going on around the home and stream to our tablets, our phones, make sure that from security perspective we're working away like I'm here in Germany. I want to make sure that everything's fine and dandy at home. I'll hook into that, check what the kids are up to, making sure they're watching the right sort of TV. Moving on. Oh, now this looks familiar. David's very kindly lent us Alexa for the week. So I don't think we'll try and do anything. Let's see. Live test. Alexa, play Little Mix. We know that, to be frank, Dave's favourite is Little Mix, so we'll get that playing. We might have failed, but never mind. We won't hear it in the background. The other thing, Dave came through the door. We've got a Ring internet-connected light bulb, not light bulb, alarm and doorbell there. See if they're open for me. That's fine. So what we've got here is a little Ring. We can hear it going live there. Little internet camera there. So wherever I am around the world, if I want to get a delivery today, comes to my house and ring the bell. Goes off in my phone in my pocket, and I can tell them to leave the package behind the bins because I'm not home right now. I can't come to the door. So through here, yet again. Oops, excuse me. Oh, hey, the perils of live TV. Never mind. Finally, a little bit thirsty, a little bit parched from having shown you around our fantastic Internet of Things connected homes here at Electronica. What I might want to do is use my phone. It's a few feet away, it's a little bit crowded, and not just order a coffee. I might just want to get one made. We might save that for a little Easter egg later on, but never mind. But this is it. And today everything's been controlled by Volker, our friendly member of staff from Electronics Germany. Volker, for everybody watching on the internet, can you just say hello?
Hello.
And one quick question. What do you think of Arrow's Internet of Things Smarter Home?
Well, it's a very interesting smart home with a lot of nice end-user products coming from all customers from Arrow all over the world. Yeah, it's a good smart home.
It's a little bit of an insight to the future, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for your time, Volker, and thanks for all your efforts on the stand today. So, that's a little bit of my tour around. I'm sure that there are far better presenters out there that can do this job, and I hope I've done it justice. But yeah, you know what? Just something else that we're doing to show what Arrow are doing today with all the vendors and all the suppliers and all the partners that we work with throughout all the various elements and businesses of Arrow. So, thanks a lot. See you later. Bye. So I went back later for my IoT coffee. I really enjoyed that.
Damn right you did. Damn right you did. So, German efficiency gone mad. The band have started 10 minutes early.
Oh no.
So, yeah, unbelievable. So, apologies if we have the band. We were hoping to go straight to them in some sort of beautifully slick BBC fashion, but that's not going to happen anymore.
Well.
So, we will get straight onto the next video and the last video of the evening. So, one of the purposes of us being here is to sort of help the electronics and the intelligence systems customers understand what ECS is and how valuable it is to their businesses. So as part of that, we developed How Happy's London for Munich. And as a demonstration of how all those data feeds and all that stuff that IoT kicks off and sensors kick off actually can be used as valuable insight and to become valuable data. It's part of a big video wall, and I'd like to show you it right now. Roll VT.
The overall happiness of Munich. So, taking you through it for 2 seconds, from right to left in the sort of middle of the system, middle of the displays, we have the current weather and environmental status. So we've got the percentage of chance of rain or cloud cover, we've got the humidity, we've got temperature, but we've gone a little bit crazy and we've went with ozone depletion and the current status of the air quality. In the middle, we've got transportation. So, interestingly, Munich couldn't really get any information around the buses. So, what we've gone for, around the tubes. So, we've gone for buses and road disruption. And then we've got one of the things we've been able to discover quite quickly with Munich is actually the best days to travel. So, the pie chart in the middle of the centre dashboard is actually the best days we've seen to travel over the last 8 months. And then we've got the best times to, next to the pie chart, we've got the best times to actually travel on their underground system, sorry, not underground system, on their sort of roads and transportation network. So you'll see a peak sort of at the start of the day, where we see sort of 6 a.m. To sort of 7, and then you see a peak at the end of the day where you start to see sort of people trying to get back in their cars. The very left dashboard with the percentages at the top, that is our social understanding of Munich. So what we've got, once again, from left to right, I think, 23% is the percentage of positive tweets that we're finding on the network today. 26% is the number of negative tweets, and 48% is the number of neutral tweets. One of the things we've introduced for Munich as well is 2 things that we don't have currently in the London system, but we're going to be bringing them in as soon as we get back, is the percentage of spam to non-spam. So the blue and orange pie chart at the bottom is spam to non-spam. So interestingly, we're seeing more spam messages than we are non-spam. And the 70% just below, that is the data confidence scoring that we have currently in the platform. And then the pie chart next to that is the number of, or the people who are basically the most relevant tweeters, so people who are tweeting us constantly and talking about how happy is Munich, Electronica, and all that good stuff. And at the bottom, we've got a live scroll of tweets. At the top, very much like we have in London, we have essentially the visualizations of the happiness of Munich. So currently, life's good. At the bottom, we've got just some more social content, much more engaging. So the idea is people can engage with it and people can get on with it. So that's how happy is Munich. It's really interesting because the way that we use this to essentially bring our ECS world into the components world is IoT and sensors and all the stuff around us generates data. And as part of that, we want to try and gather that data and turn it into valuable insights. And that's why we're here. So we've had a lot of interesting conversations, met a lot of new customers. So fingers crossed we can turn this into some really interesting business when we get back. Thanks, and back to the studio.
Okay, so that's Electronica. So it's been a long week.
Sorry, that was a big sigh there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's tired.
we started on Monday when this place literally looked like a building site.
It was a building
It actually
site.
was a
Never
building
mind
site,
looked.
wasn't it? I can't believe they've literally built all of this since Wednesday. I think I might mention that on the tour, but literally since Wednesday. Unbelievable accomplishment. Some of the stands are literally 2 stories high. Absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we have the largest stand in this whole show. This show only runs once every 2 years because it is that big and that important.
And
so,
I believe one of the busiest as well.
Yes. I think I wouldn't even like to guess. It would be literally making another statistic up on the spot.
Don't give us a funny fact, please.
No funny facts. No funny facts. But yeah, so Rich, I want to ask you before we go, what's been your highlight so far?
Ooh, I know. The Guinness World Records for a machine, a robot, solving the Rubik's Cube, which they did on, I think that was Wednesday morning, 10:30, and it was 600 milliseconds. It's absolutely amazing over on the Infineon
Solving
stand.
an entire Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, well, they have to juggle it up, mix it up by hand in a prescribed Guinness Book of World Records approved manner.
And there you have it.
And
viewers.
then it was just like, fixed it.
Well,
So that was mine. What about you?
do you know what? Mine, so RS Components just behind us, one of our very large customers in electronics. They have an entire BattleBots arena. If you've been following us on Twitter, you'll see that they literally have an entire Robot Wars, BattleBots, depending if you're English or American, arena, mini one, with mini bots fighting each other and literally taking lumps out of each other, which is blinking impressive. But do you know what my actual highlight has been?
Go on.
Meeting a whole bunch of customers who didn't know we existed. Because it's lovely to turn around and say, by the way, we can do this. Would you like us to help you? And watch them all go, do you know what? That would literally change our relationship with Arrow and make it genuinely feel like we're dealing with a proper technology organisation.
Yeah, I think in colleagues as well. It's been really interesting to see how another part of the business operates.
That has been fantastic.
Yeah. Everybody's really welcomed us and not been kicked off the booth.
No, we're not being kicked off the
Warmly
booth yet.
welcomed.
We've got this lovely stand and this lovely space. And so we're going to go and meet some more customers. We're going to go and see if we can rally up some last minute business. We've got one more day of this tomorrow.
One more.
If you haven't checked it out yet, we've had our first podcast has come out this morning. thanks to our fabulous producer and now television producer, Hannah Jenny, who's
Burning
sitting
the
just
midnight
off
oil.
camera here.
Yeah,
There
burning
you
the
can see
midnight
her.
oil.
So check out the podcast. More will come out. Thank you ever so much for tuning in.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yeah. Ooh, my turn for this. And on that bombshell,
see you soon. Thank you very much for joining us.
bye.
Bye.